You know what's so embarrassing? I was just talking like I was doing the intro, and I did not realize that on YouTube I click start streaming on OBS, but I forgot on YouTube you have to click like start stream on the web page. So I was just trying to do like the intro for a few, for like a minute. Thank God I caught that. Anyway, hey, and welcome to episode 52 of the Cellarcast, our 1 year anniversary. What a wonderful, actually, what a very nostalgic way to begin our anniversary with live stream trouble. So first of all, I accidentally set the start date for yesterday. Oops, I always meant for it to be today, but YouTube, when you do I think what I did was when YouTube does, when you set the time, the schedule, when you schedule your live stream, they have like a little calendar pop up, and they do that thing where, what is it? Saturday is like the last day in the row, and Sunday's the first day, which I never like because Sunday should be the last day of the month. So I think I just looked to the end and I was like, oh, S, because they're both just S. They're both just S. Just so I just clicked on that one. I clicked on the 18th. Oopsies. Oops. Uh, well, in any event, we're here now. And hey, we're only going live once, so anyone who decides to watch this afterwards is going to be, it's not even going to matter to them at all. So, yeah. Very nostalgic. Did I say that? Very nostalgic way to start the anniversary, because this channel was actually started with, how would you call it? Dysfunctional live streams. I think I've been over it well, not this channel, but like the main channel. I think I've been over it a few times, but when the main channel, which I have to refer to it now as, when that was started, my goal was I was going to do like a live stream every month. Sorry, every day of the month of October 2020. So when I technically started doing stuff on YouTube, and I streamed every day. I streamed every day for about a month and a half, actually. And the first stream, I remember just being a total disaster. Like, it just did not work at all. And, like, my friends showed up, and they were like, okay, Tigan's doing a thing, I guess. Yeah. Well, we've come a long way since then. And as far as I can tell, seems like it's not crashing and dying just yet. So yeah, I'm here. I've got my I want to show you guys this. All right, Tigan. I see you guys. I see Lozy in the chat. So I think Horseplay's comment might have been from yesterday. I don't know. If you're still here, say hi. He might have gotten bamboozled by my my little slip up. Anyway, I want to show you guys this thing. Check this out. So most people probably aren't going to know what this is. This is a little mug that says Sierra Japan. It's got a logo of, that looks like the game company Sierra. So you might not know what this is. It has in English in front and Japanese on the back. So back in, I think, 1991 or 92, Sierra, the game developer for, they did King's Quest and Space Quest, and I don't know, like Blue Quest, and they had, I guess, some kind of Japanese branch. I'm really not sure. It's kind of hard to find. Like, did they have a Japanese thing? They had something called Sierra Japan. I'm not sure what that is. And they wanted to order a bunch of mugs. They wanted to order a bunch of mugs. Like, you know, just companies will just have, you know, they'll order pens with their name on it, and they wanted mugs. So they order these mugs, and the mugs come in, and they're the wrong color. they're green. The logo is green, whereas the Sierra logo is usually gold, I think. So they talk to the manufacturer, and they're like, "Hey, the mugs are the wrong color." SWAT, I think. Oh, did they do SWAT? Really? Really? I have to check. Let's look it up while I'm talking. So they talk to the manufacturer, and they're like, "Hey, they came in the wrong color. Do you want us to like return them or something?" And the manufacturer goes, "Ugh, just keep them for free. We want it, our mistake. Keep the mugs." So they decided to give these out as gifts, or just they gave these out at their Christmas party that year, and they had like little bags with candy inside and all that. There are only 144 of these in existence, like ever. And now guess who found one of them in a random thrift shop. Well, not me. It was.
Talking about your cute mug.
Oh my god, are you here? Oh my god. I said there might be call-ins during the show. Yes, I'm talking about my mug. How do you want to be referred to? By your name or your username?
You can call me Chaos Penguin or James. Whatever, dealer's choice.
Okay, I'll say James just because I'm more used to it. I feel funny calling people by their usernames if I usually don't, but whatever. Hi James, welcome James. This is my friend James.
Hello everyone.
I'm talking about. Yes, I am talking about. Oh, let me turn James up. Try talking a bit.
Hello.
A little more than.
Hello. My name is James.
Oh, hey Max. Max is in the chat too.
Hi Max.
So yeah, Kat was just there's like a thrift store near her house that she stops by all the time because she wants to find like Garfield plushes and stuff like that. So she was just randomly thrifting, and she found, well, on top of like two, there was like a Tweety Bird mug and I think a Taz, like Taz, what is his full name? Tasmanian Tiger or something? Or whatever. Yeah, you're the Taz guy. It was one of him too. And she goes, "Hey babe," she sends me a picture of this mug. She goes, "Is this like Sierra the game company?" And I was like, I don't know. It looks like the logo, but I'm not sure what. I was looking up Sierra Japan and all that. And then she actually found out this whole deal about the mug being this like super rare thing. And I was like, "Hey, how much is that? How much does that cost?" She goes, 99 cents. I'm like, "Do you mind buying it?" She says, "Yeah, sure." So, thanks to my beautiful, wonderful girlfriend, I have this super, super rare piece of gaming history in my home. There's crystal light in it right now.
Oh, you use it. That's really cute.
Yeah, I'm using it right now. She was nice enough to wash it before I took it home last time I saw her. Yeah, so she was planning on being here, actually. She was going to be here. I wanted her to be on the podcast. She loves being on the podcast. You guys seem to like her on the podcast. But she, like, yesterday, her mom told her, "Hey, babe." Her mom told her that they had to go to a thing for Father's Day. I forgot that today was, like, Father's Day. I kind of, like, didn't want to schedule this for Monday because just like people are more busy. So I figured, Sunday is probably a good day, and I usually record on Sundays anyway. Noontime my time, so it should be good. It should work out. And then yeah, so it didn't for her. We'll see if we can have her on another time, maybe next time. Okay, yeah, so I honestly didn't have very much on the docket today in terms of like things I wanted to talk about. There was one comment before you jump in, James, or maybe you can jump in with this. Oh, who's here?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Kat. Oh, are you here, Kat?
Cat's here.
Cat's here. She's
Hi,
muted.
cat.
I'll make one appearance,
Things I want to
even though I have somewhere to go in an hour.
Oh,
before
wow,
you-
you're here. It's a little party.
Maybe you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hi, nice to see everyone in the chat. This is
I'll
like
be
the
here
most
for like
viewers-
10 minutes and then I'll be dragged out.
It's like the most viewership I've ever had for a stream.
Is it because I'm here?
Yeah, it's because you're here. Everyone wanted to see
Yeah.
you.
Everybody wants to see Katrina. I don't know why.
So,
Nobody likes me.
we had one comment, one question last time from Ryan Frisha. He included a pronunciation guide at the end of his comment. He says it's weird in Italian. So, fair. A bunch of stuff about... well, let me go right to his question. But yes, I am also really excited for Street Fighter 6. And he says, since you brought up the High Moon Studios Transformers games, have you played the Platinum-made Transformers game? I think it's Transformers Devastation. He says you can't buy it new or digitally anymore, but it is phenomenal. It's made by the same team within Platinum that made Metal Gear Rising, just without the crackhead story. You say that like it's a positive. No, I have not had the chance to play Devastation. I forget what it came out on. What is this? 2015. Oh, it came out on pretty much everything. Oh no. Oh, it doesn't say platforms. It doesn't say Steam. It says Microsoft Windows. You know what that means? Was this a Games for Windows Live? Was this a Games for Windows Live game? Oh no, that's just, oh shit! I just opened Steam to look for it, and the trailer for I was looking at the game Messiah. That might be a little spoiler for the next video I'm working on. But I was looking at the game Messiah, and the trailer for it immediately started playing with the sound on, and it has this amazing, it looks like a 2009 YouTube video. It's like aerial like text that's like fading in and out. It's like basic plain text.
Cute.
And there's like new metal playing over it. It's so funny.
Cute aesthetic.
Transformers. Nope. Devastation is not on Steam. So that's a shame. I've heard people say really good things about it. Like it's like a Platinum, just like I want to say character action. I try not to use gaming terms that I don't like, that I think are dumb. Like I don't like saying Metroidvania. I don't like saying Metroidvania because I think it's a bad term. But
I'm sorry.
But yes, I guess we can call it a character action game. I guess it's in that that vein. So I would be interested in it. Maybe I can just, I don't know, if it's really not available for like download or physical purchase anymore, I'll just fucking pirate it. Like they don't want me to take my money. They don't want to take my money, so I might just do that.
Obviously not.
That's what Dolphin's for, babe.
I showed Kat how to emulate the other day, and she's like gone on a tear.
I'm on Dolphin right now, actually.
Have you gotten anything to work?
Tom and Jerry Wore the Whiskers is the one that works the best.
Oh, hell
Everything else is really, some are slow like the Animaniacs game and Hello Kitty Roller Rescue, and some like Taz Wanted, both on PS2 emulator and Dolphin, just doesn't want to fucking work, and that makes me really upset because it's one of the few games I really wanted to try.
We'll get you like a stronger computer. So
You just happen to go with her shop in
Kat's
like LA.
Kat's problem is that she has like a Chromebook. So we're like, oh, we like can't do anything together. Like we can't play any games or anything. So excuse me. But she goes, "Oh wait, we have this like computer that we just haven't been using because we don't have a keyboard or a mouse for. How did you guys even use that computer?"
We did have a mouse for it, but I believe my brother took it for his laptop, so it's just kind of mouseless. I do still have the keyboard for it though.
Oh, you still have the keyboard, right? So
We used it.
yes, oh, I forgot that that's where you pulled it out from.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, I just have like a USB mouse that I don't use anymore. I'll just bring it over to your place and we can see if we can set something up. So we go over and I boot up this PC and it's running like Windows 8.1.
No.
And I
Yeah.
was like,
So sad.
it's point 1, so it's like, okay. It's not like the worst thing in the world. It was the
No.
it was the better version.
I think I got an XP laptop somewhere in my house.
XP is unironically, I think I'd probably prefer it to 8.
It's really
8.1.
good, yeah.
Yeah. So we got all this stuff set up, and we got a PS1 emulator working just fine. We go to try out some GameCube games, and it's super slow. We boot it up, and everything is like running at like.
No.
It's literally, you can see like the percentage of the emulation as like a percentage of like what speed it's running at, and it's oscillating between like 100% and like 30%. Just like every few seconds. It's terrible. So I'm like, what is going on? And I open up like Task Manager, and Dolphin is literally taking up like 80% of the CPU power. I was like, babe, I think your computer is just old and bad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a reason what my mom said, and like we almost got rid of this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad we salvaged it, but it just had to be Windows 8.
I think it's honestly just also you had McAfee on it, which was the first thing I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, that was
Dude,
problem
Windows
number 2.
8.1, and the first thing I see is like McAfee, and I'm like, this is gonna be a struggle.
It's gonna be a
Like,
good time, you mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great time.
I'm glad that the one game that works the best is a multiplayer game, so I can at least do net play on that thing.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do some net play, so that'll be
Can
fun.
try it tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, we
I'd
can
love
try
to.
it. Yeah, before I go. So
Before you go.
I legitimately had like nothing to talk about today.
I
I'm glad
ask
that you
questions
guys are
to your
here with me.
audience.
I have like one game. It literally, my notes go comment review. I don't know. And Dawn of War, because I've been playing Dawn of War recently. Free Dolphin
Okay.
screensaver. Yeah, you could use it as a screensaver. Do you guys
Can
ever?
I tell you what I discovered? Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
no, go on. Go on.
It has nothing to do with video games, though. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh wait, real
It's-
quick. I just
Yeah,
read
do your thing.
Losey's comment. He says Valve games run quite well on modest hardware. Could play a few games of Left 4 Dead, perhaps. Which is
Hey,
actually
there you
you
go.
actually might just now you can download Steam, babe. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
If there was something I wanted to play on Steam.
Oh yeah. So Cat's only interested in shitty licensed
Shitty
games from
games.
10 years ago and more.
Exactly.
Very niche, you know.
Well, Taz Wanted is only like what, $12 on the Xbox. I might just have to buy that because it doesn't run on any fucking emulator.
Yeah.
If you go to a thrift shop in LA, then just buy it.
I was gonna say, if you go to like fucking, oh sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to swear. If you go to like flea markets and stuff, like video game people have infiltrated a bunch of ours around here.
Oh yeah,
Find all that old stuff. It's so good.
San Jose Flea Market in our area has a few as well. I think I took Tiger to one.
Just
Oh, yeah,
avoid like
she-
NES games.
Dude,
Their costs
Mm.
are insane right now.
Oh, babe,
Sorry.
you want to tell the story about the flea market? I can tell it.
You tell, 'cause I
there's
don't
this-
remember.
There's this big flea market. Cat does care about Garfield Racing, which is on Steam, isn't
Oh,
it?
Garfield Kart. I can get that on Switch too, babe. I guess I could go on Steam, sure, so I can play with you guys.
So we go to this flea market that's nearby. It's a pretty big flea market. It was me, Kat, and 2 of her friends. No, 3 of her friends. I forget. I think three of her friends.
Yeah, 3.
So we're there, and it's a little awkward because this is like a flea market. So, okay, how do I say it? I'm the only white person in like a 3-mile radius, and I'm like very white too. I'm like tall. So I'm like kind of like a beacon, right? So we're like walking around, and I don't feel particularly awkward or anything because of that. But it's necessary because because we're walking around, and Kat's obviously looking for like plushies. So she looks she's like a plush of Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Oh no.
And she points at it,
Oh,
and
no.
she goes,
No.
and she goes, "Oh, look, it's a Tigger." And I would go, "Oh, cat with the hard R, really?"
Come on.
And she goes, "Okay, Tigger," and every one of us goes, "Whoa, whoa, dude, that sounds way worse." That sounds like even she immediately, as soon as it left her mouth, she was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" We're like, look. They were
You
looking
shall
around.
not be
See, they're
named.
all like
Oh,
brown
man.
people. I'm like, dude, if there's like a single black person in here or a Mexican who happens to get offended by certain word, you look around and you see like the one like, I'm really white. Like, who are you gonna think said that? I'm like a lightning rod for like racial fucking tension.
And controversy.
I was like, okay, we're not gonna say that. We're not gonna say Tigga. It does sound really bad. Even when I say it now, I'm like, don't slip. Don't slip
That
up.
one
Stuff
Winnie the Pooh character with stripes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the striped Americans.
No.
I hate that the British people had to name that character that, just because if you say it wrong, well then that's your ass.
Cat, you're cutting out.
Yeah. You're getting pretty.
What was that?
Yeah, you were cutting out. You sounded like you were in like an electrical storm.
Yeah, I got kidnapped by the author of Winnie the Pooh. He found out my secret.
What's your secret?
Found the real name of Tigger.
The thinly veiled, the secret.
The British author were like, "Oh hell no, we can't have this."
Wait,
James
can't
Kat,
come
can you
out.
tell me, is this going to
Oh.
be controversial because I want to dip out now before the cancellation?
Oh, I've said
If
way
that's-
worse stuff on this podcast. You don't have to mind.
Oh, Jesus.
No, don't worry.
Yeah,
Most
he
of that
had he
episode I
has said worse stuff, and I had to stop him for it.
No, you didn't.
What were you calling my name for, Tiger?
Oh,
Do tell.
you were gonna say something.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
what were you
bad.
gonna say?
Are you from before the story?
Yeah, you were gonna say, you know what I just found
Yeah.
out, not related to games.
Oh, it's absolutely not related to games. Today, I found a channel. Bev knows where I'm going with this.
Okay.
I have a channel today, and it was about a man who adopted a lobster from the grocery store, and he brought it home and he rehabbed it and took care of it, and it's called Leon the Lobster, and it's really
It's really
wonderful.
cute.
And everyone should watch it when they get a free moment, because it's the most wholesome fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, the man is like a middle-aged, super wholesome dad energy, and he like has like stock music that he uses in all his videos, and they're like kind of poorly
That's most
edited.
pet channels.
But you can tell he tries really hard because he really loves his lobster, and he does all these little updates, and it's so cute. I love it so much. That's
Leon's
my
cute.
story.
Leon the Lobster?
Leon the Lobster.
Leon the Lobster. Wait, so they were selling
Yeah.
live lobsters?
At a grocery store, do they not do that at?
I don't
Where
know if
you
I've
live?
ever seen a lobster in a
Oh.
grocery store. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe it's because we just shop at bargain markets, but
It depends. It might depend on where you live, though, because like I live near the coast, right?
well, so do I.
East Coast.
Oh, you're
you
right.
also on the
West
East
Coast probably West Coast probably has lobsters, don't we?
I don't know. Well,
I don't
it
even
depends
know.
on the water temperature, because a lot of the lobsters that we eat on the East Coast like are cooler water temperatures because we're in the Northeast. So
Okay.
he's in like the New England area, I think. And so like in our area, we have like all along the East Coast, upper half at least, we have like lobsters in a lot of grocery stores.
Huh.
Which is really sad because I've always wanted to take one
And they're live?
and adopt it. They're live, yeah. They have their little claws rubber banded shut, which is sad. And yeah, I've always wanted to rescue one, and I found this lovely man on YouTube who rescued one. And he just came out with Leon the Lobster merch that I'm absolutely gonna fucking buy because I'm all about Leon's story now. But yeah, that's what I thought today.
Hear overwhelming static.
That sounds like an advertisement.
If you hear overwhelming static, that's probably coming from Kat. There's probably like a car
Ah,
passing
yes.
by, and it's Kat. It's like picking up on. It's like activating her mic. So it just it does it all the time. I've had to mute you before because I'm like, this, babe, the static.
Static is
Really?
too much.
I'm looking up. I looked up California lobsters, and apparently this is a story from Vice from 2016. Why we don't eat California spiny lobsters, even though they taste better. So I was just kind of skimming this. So there are lobsters that are endemic to like the California coast, for instance, and they're called spiny lobsters. The ones on this side. Unfortunately, here's the problem. Apparently, they are incredibly difficult to catch.
Do they hide a lot?
So there's this. Who's this? There's like a guy who's like a scuba diver that they're interviewing, and he says they are a tremendous challenge to find in the water. They are the ultimate escape artist.
Oh shit!
Oh, Genie Lobster.
I'm so sorry. I will be right back. My iguana just got on the kitchen counter and knocking shit over.
Oh no.
This is what the iguana.
This is the greatest podcast of all time.
The iguana interruption.
Iguana
This is what James owns a lot of animals.
He's like that one
Sorry,
character
I
from
own
Serious
lots of
Unfortunate
animals.
Events.
I have a parrot who started beeping. That's the fire alarm noise in the background if you hear him because he's frightened of the iguana.
Oh, animal racism.
Do you think? I guess it's speciesism. Because I was like, do you think if it's racism
speciesism, yeah.
between different kinds of animals? Because those are technically just.
I guess.
But it's like, but they're different like species. Like if you know if you're scared of dogs, right? Is that racist? And you're like, oh no, but I got bit by a dog, and it's like, okay, but like you're making a generalization.
Well,
about a
no,
group
they're
of people.
different species.
You're making a generalization about a group based off
Just
of like,
phobia.
statistically, the dogs, even though dogs make up like 13% of household animals, they make up 50% of all bitings. You're like, that's based off of inaccurate vet reporting. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Update.
Oh.
He knocked over a glass of plants my mom was growing.
Oh
So
no.
she's gonna be annoyed. And there's water. Our mail.
Don't get it.
Our mail is soaked.
I like how James's headset is also just like flickering in and out of life.
It's becoming me.
All right.
Yeah, I forgot that James's headphones can like reach
Yeah.
all the way, even though they're not in the room.
That I don't know.
Forgot about that.
Is it a USB or a Bluetooth, James?
Yeah, sorry. My headphones will do that. They'll like, cause I'm in the other room. I'm in like the kitchen, and there's like, a chimney between that and the office. So like it's like fixed stone. So doesn't quite connect super well. Anyways, my iguana knocked over lots of stuff. That was very interesting.
All right.
And with that, I will take my exit because I need to clean up that mess. And I just realized I'm running late to meet my dad for Father's Day.
Great.
I have to be there in 30 minutes. Cool. All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good
Of
one.
course. God bless
Hi,
you.
James.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.
Unfortunately, I also have to do the same thing.
All right. Dude, everyone leaves me. Everyone just leaves
I'm not
me.
doing it on purpose. I just got a text like, "Hey, I'm gonna be here in 5 minutes. We're about to
Oh
go." I'm
yeah,
like,
you gotta be there at like an hour.
I have to be
All
there
right.
at 1 as well, like James.
All right. Well, it's been wonderful having you for the first little bit of the podcast.
I wanted everyone to have me back, so this is what you get. This won't be the last podcast I'll be on either. Maybe, I don't know.
Threat?
We'll see. What?
That's a threat.
Oh, that's more of a warning if I don't get kidnapped by, like, I don't know, somebody.
Okay. Play Lupe Fiasco.
Yeah, by Lupe, I'm gonna be like the Princess Peach of like the cellar. He's gonna keep me hostage, and you have to fucking save me because you said some shit about him on your video. Shit that was factually true, unfortunately.
Well, it was theoretical. Who knows?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
explain that for the viewership if they aren't aware. But
Explain it when I leave.
When you're gone.
Anyways,
All right, well,
bye everyone. I hope
love
you have a wonderful.
Bye.
Oh, I love you
Thank
too.
you for the
Bye. Welcome.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. All right, now it's just me. It's just you and me, baby. I should explain. For anyone who wasn't aware, who didn't watch my last video, it was about the rapper Lupe Fiasco and how he how he was invited to play an exhibition match with legendary fighting game player Daigo Umehara in Street Fighter V. And Lupe ended up winning, and my video was about the kind of effects that had on the fighting game community and such. And my theory that Daigo kind of threw the game, through most of it. I think his ultimate his ultimate goal was to win. But go watch the video anyway. A week or two ago, I got a comment from the Lupe Fiasco, internationally renowned rap artist, basically calling me out and saying that he won fair and square, which is like very surreal to me, because I have to wonder, is he like how did he find this video? It was below, like, it was at 3,600 views or something like that. Was he just like, did someone send him it? Was he just like ego searching all the time? Like, if you look up his name, my video like doesn't even come up at all. Like, I scrolled and scrolled because I was curious. And if you look up like Lupe Fiasco, like Daigo or something related to that match, my video only comes, it's like the 30th or 40th search result, at least for me. So I don't know how he found it, but now he knows of my existence, and I've been joking to my friends that he is the #1 enemy of the not the podcast, but the channel. He's my I'm #1 Lupe Fiasco foe. All right, yeah. So it's just us now. Let's see. Lozy says, now we can speak ill of them. Yeah, she kind of smells like, she kind of smells bad. I'm kidding. James smells bad though. I can smell it through Discord. He fucking reeks, dude. Dude, pu. Yeah. So. Oh. Ooh, does that pick up when I crack my knuckles? I heard that cracking knuckles is some think it's like a rude behavior, but at this point it's like, it's so it's almost like a tick for me. Like, I pick up these little things I need to do. Like, sometimes I'll just play with my hair in a certain way. Cracking my knuckles is one of them because I'm like, what if the air is filling up between my joints? I gotta crack it out, which is why that sound happens. It's the air fills up between your joints, or it's like bubbles of air in like the I don't know what it's called, but it's like the joint lubricant, and you just but some people don't like that sound, which I understand because it sounds like bone snapping. But I can't like help myself. Like if it's been a while, if it's been a while, I just can't help it. Let's see. The Discord smell-o-vision feature is underrated, TBH. Yeah, it only comes with nitro, which is like most people that's why most people don't have nitro. It's because they don't want to like, think about who hangs out on Discord. Like, do you want to smell those people? I don't think so. I've always heard that it's bad for the bones, but I've never seen that it's 100% real. Yeah, it's bad for the bones. I've actually done some looking into it because I got kind of nervous about it because I was like, I do this like 100 times a day. I crack my fingers. I'm like, oh no, am I ruining my very important hands, which I need to like type and edit and like give hand jobs and stuff. I looked it up, and apparently there's really nothing to back up the idea that it's bad for the hands. It's probably just something that came. Server stench is the new convention stench. What would be the worst smelling server? Like, what would be the worst one? What would be like? You know how I'll get back to the cracking the knuckles thing. But let me finish up cracking knuckles. So there was like a guy who did like a lifelong study where he examined like cracking your knuckles every day versus never cracking your knuckles, and he found that there was like no noticeable change in like grip strength or anything like that, or there was basically no difference between the two people. It was only done on like a small scale, but I don't think there's really that much to it. I think it just comes from the fact that it sounds really gnarly. Anyway, if you so like how like in Smash there was that famous League. Damn, honestly, I don't know. Okay, so like. My thing is, like, do you remember that story that was going around a while ago about how there was, like, this one Smash, like, local tournament where they almost got, like, they had to put out, like, a notice telling their players or their community members to please take showers before they come or deodorant and stuff, because apparently the venue that they rented, like, each week was used for other things like the rest of the week. They would rent it on weekends, and then apparently like the Monday after the Smash local was there, regular like people who were frequented that venue called it the smell day or like the stench day or something like that, because it would just fucking reek after these guys were in there. Over the weekend, which is like so funny. I'm like, what would be the Discord server version of that? Lowercase visor forwards league suggests league based on sheer quantity, at least. I'm thinking like there are like a lot of people who play League, but I don't know. If you're in if you're in like a place with a lot of people, it doesn't have to smell like that bad. There could be you could have like like you could have like 5 people together like in a small area, and they might smell fine. They might smell perfectly fine, but you could have like one person and he's just like a total pig pen. He's just you just like go near him and you're like whole sense. It's like when you have like horseradish and you're just like it goes in your your nose. You're like snot coming out and stuff. Get away! I'm gonna shit talk my dad for Father's Day. My dad likes to not take showers for like a week because it's not part of his routine. He forgets. I'm like, okay, Dad. So when I have to be around him, I'm like, I kind of like like inch away because I'm like, you fucking smell. Sorry, Dad. Happy Father's Day. You really have to consider the people to smell ratio. One person can make 5 people smell. Scholars remain undecided. Yeah, that's how that's how it be. You know, I used to, there was a dude, so when I was in high school, I used to I had this thing, I didn't like the way deodorant smelled, so I just didn't wear it. I just didn't wear deodorant, and I was like, I smell fine. I don't smell anything. And there was like legitimately a dude who thought that I was a school shooter or a potential school shooter. And one of his supporting arguments was that I smelled bad. And I was like, damn, really? Like, I get that, like, you know, I dress kind of funny and there was like one story he told me. We were friends later. Like, he realized that I wasn't like weird in that way. Please. We were friends later, but he told me that there was this one time because we were in like the same math class, and he was looking, or he sat behind me. I sat like in the front, further front in the row, and I was probably playing like Toho or something, and all of a sudden I just go, damn it, and I reach into my backpack, and he said in that moment, he was like, oh god, here it comes, no. I just like pulled out some water or something like that. But I was like, god, yeah, you know. Yeah, maybe I didn't do that much to help my case, wearing like trench coats and like boots all the time and stuff like that. My hair wasn't as long. I always had to get my hair cut. Imagine your father now watching the stream, breaking the glass of wine like Dracula. Yeah. But enough talk. But enough talk. I'm not gonna throw this. I'm not throwing this. Have at ye. Yeah, so, whoa, where am I clicking around? Okay, I was checking something. Let's see. Are we gonna talk about games today? I might be so bold as to talk about video games on this podcast. On this live streamed podcast. Yeah, so recently I haven't been playing, like, finding the right deodorant, famously one of life's great hurdles a teenager must go through. Honestly, it wasn't even the right one, it was just anyone. To be honest, like just please God, anything. So recently, I have actually been playing Dawn of War. Warhammer 40k Dawn of War. Which should be called Dawn of Warhammer 40k. But, you know, like branding stuff, whatever. So I know we're going to talk about Warhammer games like twice in a row on the podcast, but hey, bear with me. Because the Warhammer part is, I think, less supplemental. Sorry. The Warhammer... So in, like... how would I say this? In Space Marine, I think the Warhammer part of that game was kind of one of the main appeals of that game. Like the flavor and the world and the... just like the visual, the environment and the atmosphere and stuff like that. In Dawn of War, I feel like the Warhammer stuff is kind of like there. It's just like an RTS with like a Warhammer skin over it and a Warhammer story, storyline. And I was a little apprehensive about going into this one just because I have never really been into RTSs, save for my only like real excuse me. My only real experience with RTSs was Lego Battles. That's what it was called. It's called Lego Battles on the Nintendo DS. If anyone's played that, that game was so good when I was like 8 years old. I remembered it like a few months ago, and I looked it up, and apparently it's considered pretty kind of unimpressive and basic as an RTS by like RTS fans, but as a kid that game was like sweet. It's actually a pretty neat game. It basically takes like 3 different Lego themes. It's like the medieval one, the pirate one, and then like the space one, and it gives you like 6 different campaigns of like this versus this, and everyone has like their own units. It's like the kingdom and like the knights and stuff versus like the evil wizard guy, the pirates versus like the whatever like naval imperial thing, and then like space colonists versus aliens, and you got to play like 6 campaigns, and then it had like a bunch of maps and like missions and stuff, and it was actually like really cool. It was really fun as a kid. That was my only experience with RTSs, and it was pretty positive. The last RTS I really tried, for some reason, I think I just I never really got into them again, just because they weren't very, I don't know, it wasn't in my sphere, I guess, as I got older. It was just one of those genres that was really, I feel like it kind of went out of style, or went out of like popularity in like the mid to late 2000s, which is around the time that I grew up. So my just, interests went other places, like League of Legends, which traces its lineage back to an RTS, ironically. But maybe that's just indicative of where the genre was for me. I don't play Warcraft, but I do play League. So, didn't touch them for a while, and then a few months ago, I ended up getting what is called Star Wars Empire at War on like a sale. And I was like, why not? A Star Wars RTS, that could be fun. And I remember playing it. What the fuck is going on? Someone's moving furniture in my house. I don't even know if that picks up. I remember playing it and getting just kind of a little burnt out with like the first mission. Burnt out isn't the best. I just wasn't really feeling it. It was kind of slow. I kept failing the first mission. I really didn't understand why. I was also like very anxious around that time, so it was hard to like focus on stuff, so I just kind of dropped it. Let's see, Lozy says, I get tired quickly and I start using tricks to be immortal or win automatically. Mostly Age of Empires 2, Warcraft 3, and StarCraft. I haven't played any of those, so I can't say whether or not I can echo those feelings. But I can speak for how I feel about Dawn of War. Because I was like, you know what, let me try it out. It was like $1 on like sale on Steam or something like that. Maybe it was a little more, but it was really cheap on Steam. And I was like, okay, this fits in my budget. So I picked up Dawn of War, the Warhammer 40k game, or the RTS. The original one from, I think, 2005, I want to say. And I actually have been really enjoying it. I've been finding it very, well, I guess I should mention, like, what I like about it is the way that it is paced and structured. And maybe this is, so you have to understand that when I talk about RTSs, I'm not speaking from like any point of experience, right? So like if I talk about genres that I'm way more familiar with, I'll be able to make comparisons and everything and be like, oh, this is what this does, that's interesting. When I talk about RTSs, I'm speaking as like a complete newcomer and someone who like knows next to nothing besides, basic premises. I know what StarCraft is. I know what an Artosis pylon is. So I can't really make a comparison to like, I can't critique Dawn of War in the context of like other RTS games, because I just don't know, like, does this game do anything particularly well or particularly poorly? I have no idea because I don't really know what's standard. I think I just smacked my my pop filter. Yeah. But I can say that as someone who's very new to the genre, I have really enjoyed it. I found it very well paced, which was something that I felt was important. There is like a tutorial in the game, but it goes over pretty much everything. It basically is just a tutorial for like how to, like how the interface works, essentially, just to, like get you acclimated with generally like how the interface works and how things unlock and level up and stuff like that. Really basic mechanical stuff. But the process of like, and it kind of runs you through like playing a game and like, okay, you know, win this map. But the actual campaign itself, I think, does a really nice job of easing me through actually learning how to play the game. With like the first mission, there's literally a character telling you exactly what to do and in what order, and it's very like it eases you in terms of things like mechanics. It eases you in with like what kinds of units you're creating, how you're positioning them, what kind of objectives there are, how, you know, obviously like the difficulty of the enemy units, like, you know, how large their numbers are, what, you know, what strength they're able to produce, and all that, how enforced their like bases and stuff are. And so I felt actually very comfortable playing the game, even though there's like a ton of information coming at me with like, okay, I have to like look at the map back and forth and like, okay, this thing is like upgrading, and then I got to move this squad over here, and I got to do this, and but it kind of it goes easy enough, and I'm playing on the normal difficulty. It goes easy enough that I actually felt like it was pretty yeah, comfortable would be the right word. I was like, okay, I actually feel good about learning the game, and then it kind of like mission by mission kind of steps you up until I want to say about mission 5 or something, where you're pretty much working with all the mechanics, at least as far as I can tell. Like all the mechanics, there might be more units or stuff added, but all the basics have basically been covered. So I'm like on, I think, the 7th mission of, I believe, 13 or something around there, and I feel pretty good about like the gameplay, like in general. There is something very satisfying about building up large numbers of units, and then just like, there is like a strategy to it, obviously, like how you position your units, what kind of like behavior you set them to have, which units you choose to produce, and like specific, you know, like how you want to use them, like creating like artillery and then setting up the artillery like tanks here and having them fire on here, and then like going around and like micromanaging behaviors for all of your different units, your like squads and your vehicles and stuff like that, making sure that everything's like upgraded. There's tons of like upkeep, not a lot of resource like harvesting, I would say, which was something that I am aware is like more of a thing in other RTSs, but in this game it's mostly just you build, basically there's like two basic resources. Requisition, which is sort of used for like, how would I say it, like requisition and energy. And requisition is like, I guess it's like a manufacturing cost, and energy is things that cost energy. I don't know. They have things that different things have different costs for each of those. And you basically just kind of like build little generators for energy and capture strategic points for requisition points. And it's pretty simple. Like there isn't a lot of like, okay, you got to find like a forest or like a mine, and you got to go set up a thing, and you got to set up units to like, you know, move your go over and like collect the resources and bring them back, and you got to protect them and do all this stuff that I'm pretty sure stuff like other RTSs like StarCraft do. None of that. It's basically just like playing the game and securing like points on the map is basically like how you. It's kind of like a cycle in that way. It's designed in sort of a gameplay loop, like a cycle, of one thing you're incentivized to do to feed into what they want you to do. They want you to capture things and build units and win battles and stuff like that. And doing that rewards you with strategic points, which lets you do all that stuff more. So, like, pretty simple cycle. There's probably some, like, silly game design term for this, but, like, this kind of a design. But I can't, I don't know it, so I'm just calling it the little, I guess, gameplay loop. I guess that is what that is. People talk about the loops. Yeah, so, it's been good, and you know, the Warhammer stuff is fun. It's like, okay, you know, you're commanding like Space Marines and stuff like that. Apparently the faction that this one is about, the Blood Ravens, was made for this game, which you would not know if you went to look up in the wiki, because they have pages and pages and pages and pages of lore, kind of like everything. Cat, I'll get to the question later. I can see the comments. Let me talk about Warhammer, babe. Right, so, yeah, I mean, it's like a pretty, it's a very, how would I say? The presentation is very much, I want to call it like a 7 out of 10. Like, it's nice. Everything works properly. The cutscenes are entirely done in engine with like nothing pre-rendered, as far as I can tell, like except for like the intro cinematic. Excuse me. Except the intro cinematic. Yeah, you know, it's serviceable. The story is fine. It's a Warhammer thing. There's orcs, there's Xenos, there's Chaos, there's Space Marines, and everyone's on this planet. Wow. There is, what's really cool, an army painter. So, if you're familiar with the Warhammer tabletop game, you buy these, or if you're not familiar, the Warhammer figures do not come painted. So you can actually, they come in like grayscale. So, Warhammer, you know, enthusiasts of the tabletop game, they'll go in and they'll like paint every one of their figures, and what's neat about that is that the space, like for instance the Space Marine chapters, the Space Marines don't have a they don't have like a singular color scheme. So like most people are probably familiar with like the Ultra Marines. Those are like the blue and gold ones. That's like one chapter of the Space Marines. There's like 100 of them. And they all have different color schemes with like, you know, different black and red and green and yellow and all these different color palettes. So in the tabletop game, people can like, what's neat about that is that for lore reasons, you don't want to say like, you're not just playing a Space Marine army, you're playing an Imperial Fists army. The Imperial Fists have like this yellow color scheme. So I'm not sure if they have like specific abilities or something like that. I don't quite remember, but for lore reasons, you can say that you're playing members of a specific chapter of the Marines, or of you know, any of the other races. You could say like, I'm playing this specific tribe of the Eldar or whatever. I forget what the Eldar are divided into, like what their term is. That was a nice crack. So there's a feature in this game that actually mimics that. It's called the Army Painter. So what you can do is actually go and individually color the in-game models, and you can have like all these presets and things like that. the only ones that I'm like Space Marines, for instance, that I'm aware show up are the Blood Ravens, but like they have a bunch of presets for like the other a bunch of other Warhammer chapters, and you get to like customize. Every one of them has like their own insignia that's on like the shoulder pauldron that you can change. So you can like there's a pretty good range of like color customization with it. You get like a whole basically color wheel. I mean, it's not a wheel. It's like a square, but you know, it's got all the colors on it. The full like spectrum of colors. And then you can like name them. You can individually color like the vehicles and stuff like that. It's actually really cool. So you can actually you can actually, if you want to, if you're playing like the what would you call it, like the skirmish mode, which is like the non-campaign, just you know like versus CPU or something. You can probably play against another player, I'm assuming. You can say like, oh, I'm playing a what are they called? Dark Angels? Fuck, whatever. You know, edgy Warhammer names. I forget that. I lose track of the names. Dark Angels, I'm pretty sure. There's like a bunch that are called Angels. They are called Dark Angels. Yeah, the green ones. The green and white ones. They look cool to me. Yeah, so like that's a cool feature, and it's just like a fun thing to have. You can do that for every one of the races that you're able to play. Let's see. Well, he says, there was a time when I looked at the Warhammer games that are on Steam, and that led me to Wikipedia, and there's too many. It looks like an interesting universe, but there's so many, it scared me. I prioritize other franchises that I'm more familiar with, and have games that are more my style. Yeah, so that was like, I guess I should talk about like how I penetrated the Warhammer franchise. The way that I got into Warhammer was because it is an intimidating series. Like I had a friend whose boyfriend was into Warhammer, and when they mentioned that to me, I was like, dude, the only things I've seen of Warhammer is like 20 like books with like that are like book series that have like 20 books in them, or like 5-hour YouTube videos. That feels like my whole exposure to it. I'm like, there's just it's so much. And I was really just like intimidated by it, which was a bummer because I would always see the artwork and I was like, that looks fucking badass. That looks so cool. That looks so rad. And I'm like, I just want to know what's going on, you know? So eventually, the way that I got into Warhammer as a franchise, I guess, was a friend who was into it mentioned, like casually into it, mentioned something about it to me. I was like, oh, you know, let me go. I went to like the official website or something, and they have like a thing you can scroll through of like all the different factions or whatever. And I was like, oh, these look cool, you know, these look neat. And then I saw the Harlequins, who are the space jester like assassins, Eldar assassins, and I was like, I want to know about these guys. So I went to the 40K wiki. Specifically that's the other confusing thing, is that there's two Warhammers. One of them is just called Warhammer, and the other one is Warhammer 40K. Warhammer by itself is like the fantasy one. 40K is like the sci-fi one. That's like so, and they have like, they kind of mirror each other, like they're similar races, but like not all of them are like 1-to-1. It's like, I steer towards 40K because the fantasy stuff isn't as much my thing. The sci-fi thing is more my mug of crystal light. So, excuse me. Basically what I did was I literally just looked up the Harlequins on the wiki, and then I just started reading, and then when I saw something that I didn't understand that had like a link, I would just click on the link, And then like 3 hours later, I was like deep into Warhammer lore, and I was like, there's so many stories, because Warhammer is a very interesting series in that way, because the main I think I've described this before, but like it's kind of like one of my hurdles with the series is that the main game, or like the main thing of Warhammer, right, is the tabletop game. The problem is the tabletop game is not a storytelling mechanism. It's not like a storytelling medium. Like you could say, oh, there's like, ludo narrative. Every game of Warhammer tells a story, but in actual, like, oh, I want to just see stories about this world or something, you don't really get that out of the tabletop game, and that's like the main thing of the series, right? That's the central property that everything's kind of based around, or that it springs from. So you have to go to, if you want stuff, if you just want stuff that takes place in that world, you need to go to all of the spin-off material, and there's been a lot. So part of this comes from the fact that basically the way that the Games Workshop kind of like built up the Warhammer universe, correct me if I'm wrong, Warhammer historians, but basically when so every army in Warhammer, standard Wikipedia conspiracy theory research practice prob's the best way to get into anything in my honestly, yeah, just going down the rabbit hole. Just, how is there more stuff? How are there more things I've never heard of? That's my recommendation for getting into Warhammer. It's literally just like, find a thing you think is cool and just wiki dive, and maybe you jive with it and maybe you don't, but it'll be interesting, and then you'll at least have an idea. But if you want to actually engage with it, so here's the problem. So basically, every army in Warhammer, or every like faction, they have their own special abilities and like traits and things in the tabletop game. So they basically, Games Workshop makes a killing selling what they call codexes. Codexes are essentially, little booklets that are rule books for the individual army. So if I just look up like 40k codexes. So, I do a cursory search. So, like, you can get the Grey Knights, the Thousand Sons, the Orcs, Black Templars, two others that are not in this image, the Tau, the Drakari, the Necrons. Like, you can get codexes that basically teach you the mechanics, like in detailed terms, for each of these armies, and give you like rundowns of them. But in these codexes, they are also kind of like supposed to be in-universe things, right? So the idea is that, like, yeah, it has all this info about the game, but a lot of the codex actually ends up being lore. It'll include like stories about these different factions, right? Stories about you pick up the, let's look at one. Let me just Google image search. You pick up the one for the Chaos Space Marines, right? And you open it up, and there's stories in it about the Chaos Space Marines. That just like they get someone to write a short story about them, and it could be like, in the form of any kind of storytelling form, right? Like an actual like lore dump, or maybe like an in-universe, like someone writing a message about the Chaos Space Marines, whatever. And then over the years, these things, just because they put these out every so often for like all the armies to like when they update the rules, or when they basically make balance changes essentially, or they have like new additions and stuff like that. So they put these things out, and then just over time it just built up, it up and up and up, and people found the universe interesting because it is cool, even though it like just pulls shit from a bunch of other sci-fi franchises. And then over time, it just snowballed into this big thing where they're like, okay, well, let's make books, let's have spin-offs, let's have these different other kinds of games and board games and stuff like that. Was Space Hulk, I think, is one of the earliest like Warhammer games. So it's just this like big glob of like multimedia entries essentially, and just over the years there's just including like certain like retcons and resets and stuff like that, and like here's the new lore because the series has been around for a while. So like yeah, it is very intimidating to get into, but one of the things that makes it a little easier if you're going in is that like you don't have to know everything, right? You don't have to know everything to enjoy a Warhammer thing. You just have to like maybe know enough, like just a little primer on like the basics of the way that the world works and the basics of like the different factions and all that. Because for the most part, Warhammer does not really have one overarching story. There isn't like, there's larger storylines and there's big important events, but it's kind of just like, it really is like a universe. It is this like expansive thing, and there's stories here and there's stories there, and there isn't like a single narrative arc that carries over through like the whole thing. It's like Star Wars or something, where it's like Star Wars is entirely about this one family. Warhammer doesn't work like that. So that actually makes it like a little easier to get into. So like for instance, it's over there, I don't want to get up to grab it, but like I started reading the book series Gaunt's Ghosts by Dan Abnett, I believe, which is about one of the it's about a specific like unit of one of the factions in Warhammer, the Guardsmen, who are like the normal the unenhanced, the normie humans who make up like they're like the power in numbers of the human empire's armies. So that's the Guardsmen. They're like the underdogs essentially of the Warhammer universe. And so it's about this like one little unit, and funny enough, I was talking to like my grandfather, who was like, all this stuff is way beyond him, right? And he asked me what I was reading, and I mentioned that I was reading that, and I kind of gave him like a brief explanation of Warhammer, like really not trying to get too into it. And you know what happened? He read like 6 of them. He read like 6 of the books. Or he like listened to them on like Audible or something. But like he went through like 6 of them. And he actually enjoyed them quite a bit. They're basically like really fun. Well, fun is a little because they're like gritty, gruesome, violent war stories. But like I'll call them exciting sci-fi like war storylines that's following the like colonel commissar of this little troop of guardsmen named Gaunt. His name's Ibram Gaunt. It's like, you know, he was able to enjoy it because like, well, the characters are enjoyable. The plots are like, it's kind of a light reading thing. There's not a ton of like heavy themes going on. It just like intrigue and action and like actually some great action in it. And I was talking about it to him like late, like when he'd read like 6 of the books, and I had like mentioned something offhandedly, and he's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't know what that is?" Oh. And I realized that like as I was like explaining stuff to him and like the questions he was asking me, he goes like I was realized like he barely knows anything about I'm pretty sure he forgot most of the stuff I told him like the first time we talked about it. He barely knows anything about Warhammer, but he still enjoyed the books quite a bit. I think he said that he was taking a break from them just because like he reads 6 books in a series, and it gets to be a lot, you know. But like he enjoyed them, regardless, and that wasn't like a hurdle for him. So I feel like there actually is like there's probably Warhammer stuff that's just like too lore like difficult to get into as an outsider or someone who doesn't know very much about it. But there is also like quite a variety of media that you could probably just jump into with like a basic knowledge of it, and it just kind of like or even maybe even none at all. There is like some stuff like, oh, this group shows up and you're like, what do they do exactly? Like in every freaking Warhammer thing, the Inquisition shows up at one point, and it feels like they don't explain what the Inquisition does, but but they're like, oh, it's the Inquisition. Like you kind of get what they do. Like they're like this sort of like special secret police or something, but like you don't really know what their deal is, and I guess that's kind of the point. But yeah, it's always those Inquisitors. Warhammer, it's definitely fun, and it definitely is very intimidating, but you can kind of like chip your way into it if you just like get a little root of like a little root of something that you think is cool, and you just want to know more about like who are these cool machine guys, who are these cool like Egyptian mummy robots in like flying sarcophagi. Yeah, so we were talking about Dawn of War, right? Which is funny because I think I said at the beginning that like Dawn of War is I guess probably like an RTS game first and Warhammer game second, which honestly is like fine. I think a lot of people said that's why Dragon Ball FighterZ was so good, because like, oh, it's a fighting game first and a Dragon Ball game second. It just has a lot of love and little touches. Hey boo, hey baby, this is Johnny CT. I don't know who Johnny CT is. Johnny, I can't come up with a funny thing for CT that doesn't use the word cock or cum, and I don't want to use those because I feel like it would be played out. Right, I was saying Dawn of War is it's like a solid RTS first, at least, you know, me not knowing anything about RTSs, and kind of like with like a Warhammer skin around it. Like you're using the units and they have the names and they make all these references and their voice lines. You're fighting orcs and Xenos and Chaos, and there's all the vehicles are there. And it's good, and it's well paced. It walks you through the game at a pretty, I think, fair pace. The most obnoxious thing, Connecticut. Oh, Johnny Connecticut. No one writes state names with the dots. I think that's what that was what was catching me up. I don't think they do. You usually just see state abbreviations with just, you know, the letters like TX, Johnny Connecticut. I don't know who Johnny Connecticut is. I'm sorry. Cloud S. The biggest let me wrap this up. The biggest thing that I have with Dawn of War is that the AI is a little annoying. It's a little like it doesn't get annoying until you start getting like a lot of troops, because essentially the way that it works is squad basically. It's funny. Maybe this is like obvious to someone who plays RTSs, but it was a little like, okay, I gotta get used to this. You can make like troops, like troops of troops. Squads, that's what they're called. Squads is the term. So squad is like by default made up of like 4 Space Marines, and then you can like add to them. You can shore up their numbers to about, I think, 9 with their like leader unit. Essentially, you can get like 8 normal ones, and then you can add a what would they be called? Like a power unit, essentially. And then you can also attach a hero unit, which is like one of your main characters, right? You can attach a hero unit to that squad. So you can get like maximum of like 10 characters, and you can get up to like 3 or 4 hero units, depending on the mission, which means that you have, let's say at max, and every one of them has a full squad, like 40 units, right? Like 40 troops, and each one of them is like an individual little character that it, like runs around and has its own AI. They move as like a group. A squad will move as a group, but the individuals do have like their own behavior and stuff like that. And it's fine when you have like 1 or 2, but when you start getting like more numbers, it starts to get a little like it's like what is happening in terms of like I click and there's guys they're just running around. I almost wonder if it's like a collision thing, like their pathing is programmed so they don't like overlap or something like that. So that can get a little obnoxious because like I'm trying to just like focus fire on a thing like a building or something, and there's just guys just like whoop-de-doo around. Yeah. The other annoying thing, and this is just a thing with the age, is the game is kind of just like on the Steam version is just like a straight, they just threw it up there like every like PC port of an old game or Steam release of an old PC game. And I couldn't find any like mods or community patches like with Deus Ex to kind of like fix some of those things. So the game, you have to run it in full screen. I tried to run it in windowed. You have an option to run it in windowed, but it's not fitted properly to be run in windowed mode, at least not on my monitor. So it's running like it's taking up like 40% of my screen of my monitor, and it's going like underneath the taskbar, so there's actually stuff that I like can't click on, and the mini map doesn't scale the same way as the UI does, so it's like going over certain buttons, and it's like, okay, I just have to run this in full screen. So you have to run it in full screen, or else it just doesn't function, and you cannot alt tab, which means if you try an alt tab, it crashes the game, which is fun. You can't alt tab in gameplay, like on the main menu and stuff like that. You can, but if you alt tab and then tab back, it'll just straight up freeze and crash. So maybe, I don't know, quick save before you alt tab, but yeah, that's just one of those things with the age. You just kind of put up with it. It's been fine. It doesn't exactly fit to my aspect ratio, so it's like a teeny bit stretched. But it's overall technically not been too much of a hurdle. So, yeah, Dawn of War, the original from, I think, 2005. Enjoyable game. I'm glad to get... I always love, experiencing new genres and things like that. I always love, I don't know, just tapping new genres. I've done it with fighting games, FPS games, JRPGs, and I get maybe now I'm doing it with RTSs. Maybe this is the point that I get into RTSs, and this is the one. Let's see. A guy from To Catch a Predator. Type in Johnny Dupay Uncut. Jonathan, Connecticut. Well, let's see what this is about. Connecticut. Why is it? I don't know why it's spelled like that. Jonathan the Husky is the mascot of the University of Connecticut. The fuck is Johnny Dupay? John Dupay. John Dupay. To Catch a That guy! That guy. A convicted the guy with that fucked up hair. Convicted predator that contacted 2 decoys during the Fairfield, Connecticut sting. This guy. Is this... I don't recognize your username. Do I know you? I feel like this is something someone does to come in and fuck with me. You do know I know Mama Max. Watch out. Well, it's nice to meet you. Did you shave the hair off yet? It wasn't looking that great. Yeah, that's the pretty much... How many people we got in the stream right now? We got... YouTube tells me 5 concurrent viewers. Yeah, 5. Okay. Hey, that's kind of a record. Is Lupe undercover? Maybe. That's just become a running gag, running joke with me. Is like, oh my god, it was Lupe. Lupe did it, you know. He scheduled my stream for yesterday. Oops. Okay. No stiffness in this neck. That happens when I like do podcasting. My head, I don't move my head for a while because I'm focusing on talking. Yeah. Ow, fuck, my hair just got ripped out. I had a friend, I know someone in my class when I was growing up, and she would tell me, because she had long hair, she would be like, oh, girls can just like rip out their hair really easily, and then she just, and I was like, ugh, because I had like short hair at the time. And I was like, there's no way that you can just do that without feeling like a little pain, right? She's like, no, not really. And I was like, what? And then I never really realized until I started growing out my hair myself that, like, yeah, I just run my fingers through my hair and I could get, like... There's one. There's one that came off. Doesn't show up on camera. Yeah. I made sure to take a shower before this so that my hair looked fine. My hair is very sensitive, actually, to like... moisture, air moisture. I kept thinking like barometric pressure for some reason. I don't know why. Is it the same thing as moisture? Is that even a thing? Is barometric pressure a thing? Barometric pressure. It is a thing. Atmospheric pressure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what humidity is. What measures humidity? What measures humidity? Hygrometer. The hygrometer. Not the Wallace and hygrometer. Okay, how long have we been gone? About an hour and a half. I can go a little longer. Yeah, I can, again, like, I really did. Dawn of War was the one game I had to talk about. There's another one that I want to play a little more of before I really talk about it on the podcast. So maybe next week. But, yeah, I don't think I've been... Oh, I want to show Vampire Survivors. Go play Vampire Survivors. That's my shill. It's $3. It's on Steam. It's great. It is one of the... It is literally... If you're one of those people who's like, if I spend $60 on a game, I better get 60 hours worth of playtime from this. Which is honestly like... Last time we were talking about like replay value and stuff like that, and one of those things you don't hear is people talk about as much anymore. That's another thing that you used to hear back, at least when I was, around the early 2010s, late 2000s, the like dollar to hour of playtime ratio, which is funny because I mean that's kind of like it's kind of an individual thing. It's kind of an individual thing how much time you get out of the game. Maybe you just have like a lot of trouble with one section. What if you're just really good at a game just naturally, you know? It's going to be way shorter. You're getting your money's worth. Anyway, yeah, if you're one of those people who cares about the dollar to hour ratio, Vampire Survivors is $3, and how much time have I put into it? How much time have I put into good old VServe? 104.9, so 105 hours. I have officially gotten every single achievement. There's still like a few characters that I haven't unlocked yet, which is funny because I would think that there's achievements for them too. But yeah, this is the first game that I've ever gotten every achievement for, and it's not because I'm some like insane completionist or something. Because I never go for that. It's just because you start out with a very small selection of like items and characters and stuff like that, and then as you play the game, you unlock them by fulfilling certain requirements, and then those are just what the achievements are. So there's like 114 achievements right now. Excuse me. I've got all of them because I have almost everything in the game. I need to go and unlock some of those characters. It's great. It gets updated like every 2 weeks or something, and there's always like new stages, new like modes, new little like side things, like means of progression and stuff like that, new enemies, new just neat things. It's very fun to be in like to be playing a game and like download an update, and you go to check like, because the patch notes are always very vague. It's like new stage, new item, new evolution, whatever. They don't say what it is or how it works. So you go in and you're playing this new level and you're like, what is this? Like weird stuff is happening. The level is like shifting and changing and you're teleporting. You're like, what is going on here? What's the catch? What's the gimmick that I have to figure out to unlock? And that's just like a really fun experience, like to go on like the subreddit or something and no one knows what's going on. It's very fun. Let's see. When I was a kid, my mother bought me a Batman for the Sega Genesis, and I beat it for a couple of hours the same day. She looked at me angrily because she felt that she misinvested the money. Yeah. I did that same thing with manga, because I remember, here's a story of like, you know, glass half full or half empty. So when we would come visit California in the summer, and there's a Japantown in California, one of only I think 3 in the country. There used to be more, but World War II internment kind of wrecked them. So there's like 3 in the country. One of them is up in San Francisco, and it's a cool place. There's a bunch of like Japanese shops. There's a notable shopping mall that has a bunch of stuff, including a Kinokuniya bookstore, Japanese bookstore, which is mainly a manga store, honestly. There's like a bookstore above it, but yeah, there's like a whole manga section there, like big, like it's a big manga store. And manga, I don't know how it is in other countries, but in the US, manga's kind of pricey. It's like $10 to $13 per volume, which is a massive markup from where it is in Japan, where manga, you can get it for like $5. It's like 500, 600 yen is like the average price for manga. Way cheaper, which is partially, I think, the reason that manga is so accessible, is that it's like people just one of the reasons actually manga is like more mainstream in Japan than anime is because manga is just super accessible, because it's sold at like train stations and stuff like that, and Japan has a big public transport culture, so a bunch of people take the train. So like you're waiting by the train station, oh, there's the new manga, there's new weekly whatever, the new monthly whatever, let me go pick it up. And a lot of manga is like run in other magazines or something like that, like Berserk, for instance, ran in will run again because Berserk is coming back. That's a different story. In like a men's interest magazine called Young Animal. That's what it's called, Young Animal, which is fun. It's basically kind of like a Playboy, kind of like a Playboy in Japan, sort of similar to that. Like there's like journalism and articles and stuff like that. Don't ask me, because of the inflation in my country, everything is expensive. Yeah, that's how it be. Yeah. Right. So like, because Berserk was on hiatus, there's just gonna be 7 months without a chapter, and then suddenly, there'll be like, you'll go to the subreddit and it'll be people posting the cover of like the next issue of Young Animal that got put out like a week early. They'll show like what the cover is gonna be, and it'll just be like a picture. The cover is just like some like sexy Japanese swimsuit model or something, like all gravure and stuff like that, and then in the corner there's a little picture of Guts's face, and it's just a bunch of guys like, oh, look at that, just completely ignoring the rest of the cover. Yeah, so it'll be like included and stuff like that. So like if you're in that market, like, oh, I read Berserk one with the monthly Young Animal. Ratio 1 to $123. Yikes, dude. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know shit about the economic or political situation in Chile. I think that's where you live. Oh, Chile? Fuck. Oh, my inner whitey's coming out. I can't remember which South American countries it is. Yeah. What was I talking about? Right. So you just like pick it up by like the train station or whatever. So a bunch of people read manga, and it's very affordable. Or you get it with like the Shonen Jump, and Shonen Jump is printed on very economical, like basically newsprint essentially, and it's in black and white, so it's pretty affordable right now. Yeah. Argentina. Fuck. In my head, I'm like, is it Argentina or Chile? I'm like, fuck. I thought it's Argentina. Like, you do it. When you do that thing where you're like, oh, is it this thing or that thing? And then you think, no. Earlier, I had a thought where I corrected myself, and it's actually thing B instead of thing A. And then it comes up, and you're like, nope, it's thing B. And then you realize that when you had that thought, you were wrong or you mixed it up. Chile is the neighbor. Yeah. Okay, I don't know shit about the situation over there. I hope it gets better. Inflation started to hit the U.S. Dude, we were driving past, we had to drive past San Francisco to get to Oakland for the opening of the Maid, the museum. And on the way, we just looked over. There was a gas station. Fucking gas was like $7 to a gallon in the city, and we were like, "Holy fuck, fuck!" You wonder why half the population is homeless in San Francisco. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Bookstore. Yeah, I was talking about the bookstore. Why was I talking about the bookstore? Right. Investments. Money to hours ratio. So like I wanted to read, so I wanted to like get the manga for Soul Eater. And so we would get like a couple of them at a time. And because, it was like an event, like, oh, here's like, we're going to get this thing for Taigen. So my dad would spend like $40-50 to get like 4 volumes of manga for me. And then I would burn through all of them in like a day. And then his reaction, he would go, oh, that means he likes it. he likes it. Which was like, yeah, I do like it, you know? And then I was with like my grandmother on my mom's side, and she and my they went to take me also to a bookstore because they wanted to do something for me. They spend around the same amount of money on, and mind you, neither party here is hurting for cash, right? This was not like, oh my god, you're bleeding me dry. And I remember I'd finished like 3 of the 4 or something like that before, like, by the end of that day. And I remember her reaction was, oh my god, how much I spent on that. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's going to be like that. I guess I just read slower or something. Yeah, 2 different ways to look at it. 2 different ways to look at it. One of them definitely makes me feel better. The Death the Kid poster in your room. Yeah, I love the... I don't have anything. So I have a Soul Eater shirt. That's what I have. I have a fun Soul Eater shirt. I always like to get... if I get like merchandise of a property, I like to get like a cool piece of art or something rather than just like the logo or something like that. I'm not into that or anything like that. Like I could pull out some like fucking manga or anime shirts or gaming shirts that I have, and it's always like something that I think is like a cool piece of artwork it could be enjoyed by someone, or like a band shirt or something like that. Like someone could look at it who doesn't know what it is, but they could still think that it's cool. Like I have a Fooly Cooly shirt, and it's like red, and it has the little cat, the little like bloop, bloop cat with big eyes, and it says like Fooly Cooly in like kana going down, and then like in English letters on the bottom, and it's just like a neat kind of stylish shirt. And I've just gotten like straight compliments from people who are like, oh, cool shirt, and like they don't even know what Fooly Cooly is. And like in my opinion, that is like an actual good piece of merchandise, because it's something that like someone who doesn't know it can look at and they can think, oh, that's cool, and maybe you can compliment somebody on it. And then obviously someone who doesn't know what it is can recognize that. But if it's accessible even to people who have no idea what it is, I think that's or eye-catching or something like that. I think that's like a cool... Like if I ever had merchandise or something, I would want to get like... I would do like a shirt or something, and I would want to like commission an artist to do some like cool piece of artwork. Using like the colors of my channel, like the actual like colors of my branding, like the DOS CGA that are currently bordering me. Yeah, that would be what I would go for, and that's years down the line. I would never be able to do. I can barely get more than 6 people in a live stream. I'm not gonna make merch yet, but yeah, that would be my that's what I would do. I would want to have like a cool just piece of artwork. So someone can say, hey, that's a neat shirt. Yeah. So let's see. I read Soul Eater when I was like 12, and I think about it at the time because I remember the ending being just nuts, just bonkers, just insane. I haven't finished it because I have this thing where like, if I start it physical, I want to like read all of it physical. I don't want to like go and jump to like reading it online. So I haven't actually read the whole manga yet. Kid Goku made by my mother, poster of Ava, my big fabric Ichigo from Bleach, favorite and biggest band stuff. Yeah. Looking forward to the merchandise. Well, you might have to hold on till I'm making sizable more. It's funny because it's one of those numbers things where it's like it really does trickle down, I guess. It's like a reverse pyramid YouTube actually outlines in the analytics, on the analytics page, they actually do they show it as a triangle, like a downward triangle with like how many impressions your video got, like how many people got it suggested versus like how many people clicked on it, and like how many people excuse me, like how many people subscribed. Excuse me, burping a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like that. It's like, there's the amount of people who like watch you, and then there's some of those people will like will watch your other stuff. Well, okay, people will like click on your video. So let's go even further. How many people get suggested your video? How many people click on it? How many people actually watch most of it? How many people then go to watch your other videos? How many people subscribe? How many people then subscribe and also watch your other stuff? And it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's like, how many of those people would buy merchandise? Not enough to warrant the cost, even at like, I don't know what the number is, but definitely not where I am. Let's see. You guys are talking about the manga versus the anime ending? Yeah. I remember being okay with the anime's ending, but the anime ends like halfway through the manga. I read it at our elementary school computers. Really? That's really funny. Podríamos hablar español, pero Taiga no vos va a entender. We can speak Spanish because, but Taigan doesn't know what we're talking about. Is that what the fuck you guys are saying? You have to realize that, like, I do know. Okay, I'm not fluent in Spanish at all. I know a little bit of Spanish because of just mainly like the places that I grew up. I grew up in a place called Rogers Park, which is a neighborhood in Chicago, which is a very Hispanic, like Mexican area. So I grew up there, so I was just exposed to a lot of Spanish. Yeah, see, I fucking know. I can read basic Spanish. Abort. I can read basic Spanish because of that, and I took a few Spanish classes when I was in like elementary school. I took Spanish for 2 years in high school. It wasn't a language that I was like super interested in speaking, so I kind of like ended up dropping it, and I got a free period the next year, which was sick. But yeah, I do know a little bit of like basic basic Spanish. Spanish has a lot of similarities to you can kind of figure out Spanish through like just English context. There's a bunch of stuff that I look at that I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that is or that is or that is, but yeah, I mean, there's basic things. I know basic tenses and persons, pronouns, or what would no, like what's case? I think it's case for like how many, like I do something, we do something, they do something. One of those. I think it's case. That's the language term. Yeah. Why do I have so many? I'm actually really. This is really funny to me. Because I'm like, why do I seem to have a lot of, and maybe this is purely just bias, but like a lot of the people who interact with my stuff frequently seem to be Central or South American, and I have no idea why. I don't know why I have like an audience specifically with like Central and South Americans. Okay. my internet fluctuated for a second there. As long as you don't think we all talk like Gus Fring in Breaking Bad. Isn't Gus black? I've never seen Breaking Bad. That's my dark secret. I've never seen Breaking Bad. Is that character? I thought he was black. Is Gus Fring black? I mean, doesn't he have a? I shouldn't say that. I will. Doesn't he have like a chicken star? I would have assumed. Algorithm just loves you down here because you're too white. I am pretty white. I'm my heritage is full on European. I'm German and Basque. No one knows what Basque is. I got like the Konami video I'd recommended when it came out and have stuck around since. Oh, I remember your comment from that video. I do remember your comment from that. I remember just shit from like really tiny little details and stuff like that. Yeah. Was it the luchador part? Because that is like my most viewed video before the Sega one, the Sega and the Yakuza one. And yeah, you know, it was so funny when I was looking up what was the studio that made the WWE, no, not WWE, what was the Mexican wrestling promotion? What was the, I don't remember a comment from that video, so I'm glad. I don't remember what you said, but I remember your username. I'm like a face person, not a name person, so I remember people's like username and sometimes like a profile picture. That's like the main one for me. Saying in New Year's stream, I think. Yeah. What was the wrestling promotion called? AAA. The AAA wrestling promotion. When I was looking up the studio that did it, what were they called? Slang, I think. Slang. I remember looking up other games that they did, and they only did like a couple. Because like their thing was, oh, we're gonna make games for like a Latino audience. Zoomed in Isabel Huppert, hard to forget. Good icon. Yeah. We're gonna make games for a Latino audience. Because around that time in the U.S., I think I want to say in the late '90s or I forget when it started. Technically, the surge in like the Latino population here, but it was like the fastest growing minority population in the U.S. for a while. So they were like, oh, they probably saw that and they were like, oh, let's make some games for the Latinos, and you think about that and you're like, like games specifically for like a Latino audience. You're like, how do you, like, what does that mean, right? Like, usually when we think of like a Japanese developer makes games for a Japanese audience, it's like, that is like, yeah, there's cultural stuff, but a lot of it just has to do with the fact that they're a Japanese company and they release games in Japan, right? They don't now, more so than ever. It's been like an international thing with like, you know, developers from all over the place make games for international audiences. Technically, sort of, like in a way. I'm tripping over my words. I haven't thought about this hard enough. Let me go back to slang. So you're thinking about that and you're like, okay, so like what does that mean? Well, there's probably is like a way that you can like, I mean, there definitely is ways that you can like make games that have like influences from, I mean, it would have to be a specific country, right? It would have to be like a specific, like, just saying like Latino Latinx is like, well, okay, well, do you mean like Mexico? Do you mean like does Brazil count as Latino? I don't know. Do you mean like Mexico? Do you mean like fucking Chile? Do you mean like, you know, Argentina? Do you mean Panama? Like, what do you mean? Because those are all different cultures with their own like language and history and stuff like that, and so like, you know, you would kind of want to pick one, like, this is the one that we're gonna focus. This is like, you know, this game is coming from this country. This game's coming from Chile, from Peru. So you're like, so what does it mean? Well, for slang, it basically meant, oh, we're just gonna make like adaptations of Spanish-speaking or like Mexican TV programs. So they did make. So I saw this, and this was like a blast to the past for me. They made El Chavo Kart, and I was like, what? El Chavo Kart? So when I was growing up, my mom dated this Mexican guy for about 11 years, And so I had like a pretty decent exposure to at least like Mexican American culture in Illinois. I've been in my fair share of quinceañeras. Had my fair share of different foods and stuff like that. Actually, the best thing to come out of that, honestly, was discovering chorizo. I fucking love chorizo. So, yeah, part of that was, I know El Chavo. I know the theme song. I forget. I'd have to play it again, but I know it's called like "The Elephant Doesn't." El Chavo card, baby. Yeah. What are you guys saying? I'm brown, not because I'm Latino. Games for Latinos are just like League. Literally every gamer friend I have plays League, except I'm free now. Yeah, Brazil is the only Among Us. You capitalized Among Us. I don't know what those. Oh, only Among Us that speak Portuguese. Yeah, hell yeah, El Chavo card. You need to watch El Chavo with the Japanese dub. Does that exist? That would be awesome. El Chavo dubbed into Japanese and subtitled in English. That's funny as hell. If for anyone who doesn't know, El Chavo is like a classic. I believe it's a Mexican production. I have to double check. El Chavo. El Chavo del Ocho. Mexican, yeah. So it's basically. I feel like El Chavo is weird if like you weren't familiar with it. It's probably like very often or The Elephant Never Forgets, yeah, the opening theme. It's probably one of those things that I assume it's like really weird if you weren't familiar with it. I just so happened to be familiar with it from my childhood. I never even watched it that much. But I was just introduced to it. So I'm like, oh, so is he like a child? It's basically like it's a show about, and this is like pulling from like way back memories. It's basically a show about a boy who's played by all the children characters are played by like adults, if I remember correctly, wearing like children's clothing. And he lives in a barrel. Yeah, he lives in a barrel in a hotel, or what is it called? A vecindad. I don't know what a vecindad is. Neighborhood. Oh, okay. I feel like he's on like the ground floor of the hotel or something. Or is he just... Am I just like having like a weird... I honestly can't remember. They keep showing him on TV from time to time, with along with Zorro. Yeah, it's well, I looked just doing a cursory Google search. There's 311 episodes with 353 segments. Apparently 51 of those are lost. What dude, is there someone working to recover the lost El Chavo, the lost media? And it's basically it's a sitcom about this boy played by a man growing up, or I guess like living his everyday life in this neighborhood. And there's the guy with the propeller. I'm looking at the Google images now. There's the guy with the propeller hat. There's the girl with the glasses. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things that's like a big. It's like a big cultural thing in over there, on that side of the equator. But you talk to like people over here, and like unless he's a homeless child, right? He lives he has a barrel. He's homeless, but he is barrel. If you think about it, we're all just barrel-less. Is he home? He lives in a barrel. You think anyone does that by choice? Diogenes did. Diogenes lived in a barrel by choice. The system failed El Chavo. Someone failed El Chavo. Look, I don't know. He's like 50 years old and he's wearing children's clothes. I think some of this is by choice. Um, yeah, it's funny because you don't get that. That's a funny thing about being American is that America exports so much culture. Like that's the thing that America's greatest export is our culture. Like we show our films, our television series, our books, our music, everything gets exported to every other country. But our importing is very weird. It's very like because America is also kind of like a is so multicultural, it kind of depends on like where you grew up. I just spit. I kind of saw that on camera. Like where did you grow up and like what cultures did you grow up around, and you'll just be familiar with different things. So there's so many just like non-universal experiences in America because there's such a huge like difference in like social classes. There's such a huge difference in like culture and parts of the country. America is basically like 50 countries just in one. So many different cultures that like there's just a ton of things you'll talk to people and they have no idea what it is. Even American things. They'll just be like, what is I never saw that. What is that? I've never heard of this. So it's like it's a funny situation where it's like I feel like I'm the only white guy I know who knows what El Chavo is. Not that I hate your country, but even in my newscasts, they give news about your country too many that aren't even that important in your... Yeah, honestly, it's like, dude, to be honest, like, we get fucking annoyed with that. Like, there's a lot of Americans who are like, we're okay. It's a very, yeah, I mean, it's a couple things. I mean, like, America has an extremely developed, like, news industry. So, like... That's just a part of that of like we just fucking just shove shit. We were like one of the first countries, maybe not the first, but we had like a huge thing with like the 24-hour news cycle. News used to be like an hour or two like in the evenings, and now it's like fucking 24 hours. We always have to come up with something. We're just literally always pushing content out, like the first YouTubers. So a lot of that shit just ends up being like totally. I hate your country, but you're cool. That's fine. It's funny. You talk to a lot of Americans, and they, dude. What was I gonna say? I just lost my train of thought. Dude, no one hates America more than Americans. Yeah, it's the other thing. It's kind of the part of the frustration of living here. Is it feels like there's people are walking around. It's part of the frustration of living in the U.S. is that kind of feels sometimes like how would I say it? It's like too big. It's too big, and there's too many moving parts, and doesn't feel like there's a lot of the machine is too big, I guess. Yeah, the machine is too big, and it feels like nothing is in control. So, like, shit's happening, and it's like, okay, I wish that didn't affect me, but I guess it does. Things will happen. Americans are very used to feeling powerless, which is, yeah. More about your presidents and their history than mine, thanks to The Simpsons and other programs. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think, honestly, I mean, I think I enjoy American history. I think it's a cool topic. I was in, like, the advanced history classes in high school and all that. I did okay in them. But it's like, I kind of wish that I knew... I sort of wished, and I guess this is on me, because I have the whole internet at my fingertips, and I don't do this, but I sort of wish that, like, I just knew more about other countries. It is too big. Yeah, dude, this bitch is too big. This is a problem that Rome had. Here's some history about Rome. So Rome, the Roman Empire at one point was so large that what happened was they actually split it in two. And you have to remember, this is back in BC, before before this is like ancient history. So nowadays, there's countries that are too big, and like we have the internet and stuff, and like we can fly across the country in like a few hours, like 4 hours or something like that. You can go from like one end of the continent to another. In those days, it was like, you gotta, okay, you're gonna give your squire or your guy like a note, and he's gotta he's gotta run all the way to like another city on foot, or like maybe by caravan or something like that, and it takes weeks. It takes weeks to get around. Like imagine international politics and stuff like that in those days. Like it's just, you just fucking don't know what's going on in like a even if you live in a city that gets a lot of travelers, like maybe you might hear stuff that's going on from here or there, but like you don't really know, and it could be like not good information. It's not like we're preparing a united front against our country. Oh my god. I won't comment on that. Look, Southerners can't get into the fucking White House without falling down the fucking... Did you ever see that video when the fucking Jan 6 thing happened? And there's these people climbing up the walls trying to get into the Senate, and there's just... Oh! It's so funny. What the fuck was I talking about? Right, so in like Rome and shit, they ended up having to split it because it was literally just too big for one person to govern. They split it into western and eastern sides of the empire, essentially. They might have had a specific term for it. And then they had rulers, or they were called consuls, consul, consul, like like to consult. That's where that word comes from. They had consuls to like be the heads of those specific sides. Hey, Horseplay! It was supposed to be yesterday. I messed up. I literally clicked on the wrong date because of I didn't look closely enough. Oopsies. Yeah, it was today. I saw your comment at like the very beginning of this, and then I realized, I looked at the stream thing, and I realized that it was for the 18th and not the 19th, and I was like, oopsies. Lucy said hi to you at the start when you were gone. Yeah, we're having fun. We're talking about, what the fuck are we talking about? Talking about how the U.S. is too big to govern. Anyways, yeah. We got into this topic because I pointed out the weirdly high amount of like southern, Central and South American viewership that I have. I was like, why do I have so many viewers from there? Let me check my analytics for the main channel, because I'm on the Cellarcast channel. Analytics. Let's go audience. Let's see. Region. So top geographies, it tells me, it's because it's interesting because you wouldn't think because it's so number one is United States, then Canada, then United Kingdom, so like 3 English-speaking countries, and then Brazil actually is my number 4, and then Mexico. Okay. Let's see. Then in order, and these are getting increasingly small. Philippines, Argentina, Germany, Australia, Chile, Netherlands, Portugal, Malaysia, and then it just kind of goes and goes. I do have 10 views from Russia across my channel. But yeah, that's funny. After the English-speaking countries is just Brazil and Mexico. Is it because I made a KOF video? Is it because I made the video on Shinkiro? Or on SNK in general? Yeah, that's you. It's all you. It's all your views. Yeah. So good just means that I didn't have to divide my attention between this and Limit Breaker yesterday. Limit Breaker. Is that a tournament? It's got to be a tournament if you're talking about it. I have heard it. Wait, Limit Breaker. I'm just getting a thing for a manga. Numero 4BB. If I'm not mistaken, the chain to reach you was watch Krobcat's video, and there he recommended your video on the side. Yeah, that was I owe my first 1,000 subs to piggybacking off of Krobcat's Konami video. Isn't that cool? Actually funny. I might have told this story before, but the entire reason I made that video was because there's someone in the comments section on the Krobcat Konami E3 2010 video who said, like, I would love to see a Where Are They Now on this conference. And I was like, I should do that. I should make that video, because it was like my 5th video or something. And I was like, I made it, and then I remember checking after it got some views, after it started picking up. I was looking it up, and I found that comment again, and in the replies, someone was like, someone already made that. It's, look up the Cellar. And I was like, it's me. It's also, it's funny, though, that guy said, someone already made it. Excuse me. But, yeah, that's, I don't know. That was a funny, yeah, algorithm moment. You know, try to find a middle ground between, what would you say? YouTube is definitely a game. I mean, all entertainment stuff is a game. It's like finding the balance between, I think creatively, it's like finding a balance between things that I think people would want to watch, things that would be like attractive to viewers, like in terms of like clicking on it, things that like, so the things, something that will do well that I also want to make. I think that's the balance that I try to find. Limit Breaker was a cross-game exhibition between the discords for Asuka 120% Limit over Burning Fest and Phantom Breaker Omnia. Yeah, it's just about as much as I figured. It's like, it's gonna be some fucking... It's gonna... What's the most... Hey, we were talking earlier in the stream about if you could smell Discord servers. What do you think those Discord servers would smell like? If the Discord introduces the new Nitro feature, with this new Smell-O-Vision, only for Nitro. What is the Asuka 100% Limit over Burning Fest smell like? What did okay. Kat sent me a oh, it's that lady on the toilet. Remember that lady on the toilet gif where it's like she goes, it's like she does a little song about how she's on the toilet? She sent me that. Yeah. In the middle of my work day. I'm hard at work. Jesus. I wonder if I've expended the... Have I expended... You gotta pay up Bucko Nitro only. That would be a great feature for, like, e-girls. That would be a great feature for e-girls to have the Smell-O-Vision. Oh my god, dude. Dude! If you could do a thing where it was, like... Because, you know, they'll, like, sell their underwear or, like, their socks or something like that. If you could do a thing where, like, if you join my Discord, you can go into, like, the sock channel. And I just have, like, we'll have, like, a little device that, like, picks up smells or something. And she just has her socks stuffed in there. And, like, you can go smell her socks. Yeah. See, that would be so perfect for like maybe like an OnlyFans thing. Smell tier. Isn't there something like that? Like working on synthesizing scents? Hang on. Scent synthesizer. The Olarama Smart Scent Diffuser. What? What is this? Professional digital scent technology. The first picture is like a guy holding up like a holographic coffee cup. Holy shit. Enjoy the ultimate digital smell simulator by Olorama Technology. Olorama, inspired by the Smell-O-Vision system, this is real, features a patented solution to stimulate the sense of smell with more than 200 distinct different scents. They have a picture of a movie screen playing Avatar, the blue people one, and it says, "The smell jumps off the screen." Do you really want to smell Avatar? I want to smell it. I want to smell a blue guy. Intelligent digital olfactory devices. Available 24/7 by 365. This is like a big ass box. Adjustable scent lingering from 30 seconds to 5 minutes. Scent capsules valid for 1,000 uses. Whoa. Scented VR? Voice activated scents? This website's insane, dude. Like, this is too much. Escape rooms? I guess, okay. How does digital scent technology work? Integrating 10 realistic scents which can be activated through API, DMX, gonna give it to you, through an app that incorporates speech recognition. Just imagine just like sitting in your chair. You're sitting at your desk, just pull up like, Siri. Hey Siri. What's the verb to like make someone smell something? Like we have like play this song. I guess play. I don't know. Siri, synthesize e-girl socks, please. Discriminated against. I feel discriminated against. I hardly have a sense of smell. I don't remember the name of that disease is. Escape rooms may be the only saint use for this owns. Yeah. Hey Siri, fart. Siri, synthesize fart. Just comes wafting in. Synthesizing fart. Holy shit. The first European smell technology. Since I smell failed. What the fuck is I smell? What is this? Other non-professional smell solutions have been developed. You don't want to go with the non-professional smell solution, dude. If someone's solving my smells, I want that to be like a licensed, maybe even like a degree, like engineer, whoever the fuck, expert. Professional scent marketing. My nose is so scratchy right now. Nothing like the power of smell helps you reinforce your brand and build customer loyalty. Dude, when I was thinking about like why why do I like Guilty Gear so much? And then I realized like, oh, it's because of the scent. It's because of the smell of the game. It's because of Is this what Daisuke meant? With the smell of the game? You do not want amateur smells. Dude, I tried that once, never again. Who's got the lowest rated, like, what smell company has the lowest rating on Google reviews? Interactive smells? I'm just reading through this website right now. Interactive smells. Smart olfactory devices for interactive kiosks, touch screens, and digital signage? What is digital signage? Isn't signage, signs collectively? Oh, so like just literally just like a sign for something. Like you can make your sign smell like something? Round out your facilities with interactive smells. Like, do they even know? Do they even know like what their markup for facilities? It's like the most generic name you could have. Ultimate smelling screens. The secret. This website's huge, dude. The secret of success. Wow. I could only see this for like a kind of gimmicky, like movie experience. Like, you know, they do those 4D things, or the escape room one. Like, yeah, you put it up. The escape room idea is actually kind of cool. The escape room idea is neat. To like, because it's supposed to be immersive or something, or maybe like a theme park, which I'm pretty sure they already do. Yeah, they already do that. They already do that in theme parks. You know what they do in like Disneyland? They actually like pipe in the smell of like butter and like buttered popcorn, so you get like hungry. They already do that. Let's see. A case study from the Lancôme. Wait. Lancôme, which is that aren't they like a perfume or body spray? Lancôme. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, this is so funny. Okay, they have, I guess they did some kind of a study with the Lancôme brand, right? Lancome, right? Well, it's a French word, right? I see we're still on Smell-O-Vision. Oh yeah, we're on it. So they have this thing. They did a case study with Lancôme. They have a picture of the logo on the website, like next to this section. They spelled it wrong. They spelled it wrong on the website. They have, let me like see if I can just pull up fucking, oh, that's what I was watching. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. The accents over the O. They spelled it with an A. And I looked up, like, yeah, it's over the O. They don't have... They spelled it wrong on their own website. What the fuck is this? They keep spelling it wrong. The accent's not over the A, or whatever the little caret thing is called. Some of our happy clients, BMW. Oh, what if you could always have the new car smell? Yeah. Texas A&M. Gas natural? Pfft, there's nothing natural about this gas, dude. They got the Olorama. What is IBM using it for? What is IBM using the Olorama for? Here's what people say. I had the opportunity to experience Olorama personally at South by Southwest Summit, and I must say that I hadn't experienced anything similar for years. Olorama is simply crazy. What is that supposed to mean? I haven't experienced this, like, smells? You haven't smelled anything for years? Distinguished chef. Olorama, like, nothing about this is, like, necessarily positive. This could be, like, they just piped in, like shit smell or whatever. Doesn't mean, like, positive. I can almost see this working, actually. You know, now that I think about it, have you ever had the experience where you're eating something that's, like, fine, right? But you're, like, watching food, like you're watching something like a video or a show or something about food, and the food that you're watching looks really good, and it makes the food that you're eating taste better. Does anyone else get that? I get that. Like, I just look at, like, some delicious shit. I'm like, like, while I'm eating my while I'm eating my beans. I have these great refried beans that I picked up at the store. They're like slightly spicy. They have just like a little bit of spice in them. It's really nice. Oh god, I shouldn't have eaten it because now I can't talk because my mouth's all mushy with beans. Let's see. I was very skeptical before I tried Olarama at VR Days Europe. A lot of solutions I did see so far were just strangely looking prototypes. Strangely looking prototypes. Okay. After trying the Olarama solution, I was impressed. It simply did the job. These testimonials are a little dicey. After trying, let's see, third guy. Eduardo Harans from Virtual Voyagers. After trying Olarama personally with a cinematic VR demo, I must say that it is a powerful experience enhancer. Fire, woods, waterfalls. Congratulations. This is like the only actually like fully positive review. The other ones are just, that shit was crazy. And yeah, I mean, it did its job. Smell-o-vision. The smell of gunpowder. What the fuck is this image with the gun? The gun in the background. What is this with the gun in the background? Do you see this? What the fuck is this? Why? Like the firework. This looks like the headline image on the right. This looks like the headline image for like when a horrible tragedy has happened, if you know what I mean. July 4th tragedy. Scented candles for crypto bros. Yeah. I got blockchain smells. Dude, I'm investing in Smellcoin. I love this fucking, the gun is so funny. Like, you want to smell gunpowder. It's so amusing to me. Experience danger from the safety of your home. Yeah, in a way you've never seen before. Are you... Dude, yeah. Is that a King of Fighters 11 song? Smell of gunpowder. Let me pull this up on the other... Too far, dude. What was too far? What's going too far is these guys. We gotta pull the plug on this. Smell of gunpowder, KOF 11. Oh, the Akari Warriors theme. Oh, it's a good name for their theme. Yeah, dude, do not put the veteran in the room with the gunpowder Olarama. Holy shit. They all give off an unmistakable smell that awakens things, quote unquote. I wanna read more into this. Do you remember the smell of mascleta in Valencia? Or the smell of fireworks, flares, firecrackers, ... but also guns. They all give off an unmistakable smell that awakens things in us. The smell of gunpowder. What is the things? Why do you gotta be so little suspect? Did like a Republican write this? Things. I don't know. Honestly, if I gotta be honest, the people who are the funniest about guns are like Democrats. Because it's almost like a forbidden fruit thing. Like, you hear Democrats, so like they're so anti-gun, and they're like, yeah, and I went down to the shooting range. They talk about it like it's like, you know, like hear like gay people talk about like, oh, the first time like I held hands with like another man, it was like, oh, I had this like realization about myself. That's how like Democrats talk about guns. They're like, yeah, I'm so anti-gun, dude. I'm all for this, that, and that. And they're like, and then I went down to like the shooting range. Just like my friend took me down, and like I like shot a gun and I was like, oh, oh my god. Oh my god. That's like how they talk about it. It's so funny. Is that who wrote this? Like the fucking liberal guy who's like, it awakened just like a thing. I felt this like heat in my chest. I was like, oh. Moment is long since passed, but there's a ton of history between Asuka 120% and Phantom Breaker. My friend made a retrospective on it a couple months ago. That's neat, actually. Interesting stuff if you care about indie fighting games. God, I can't stop burping. That's neat, actually. What is it called? Let us know what it's called. More precise, gunpowder raw does not smell. This is actually just like the, I guess this is just, smoking? God. This is just, I guess this is just like the physics, I guess you'd call it, of how the smell occurs. A mixture of coal, saltpeter, and potassium nitrate that in its solid state does not give off much odor. However, when it burns, pum! I guess that's one way to write the sound of a gunshot. Olarama is the only company that has its own extraction system to extract the gases generated during the combustion of gunpowder. We pull it from... We just shoot guns. We just shoot guns and fucking suck up the smell. They keep pulling this... They keep stressing this voice thing. This is really funny. The 10 smell simulator. God, imagine showing up with the smell cartridge. Imagine having one of these. Oh, dude, have one of these, but it's on like a roulette. It's on like a roulette of which smell you get. It's like chocolate, you know, hickory wood, dog shit, just fucking. It's just the nastiest shit with like Bean Boozled, but for your nose. That would be so funny. So they mentioned this company called I Smell. Does this exist anymore? That apparently failed. It's called the Scent Company. Smells marketing. I Smell. Oh, the I Smell story. Why is there just the big blank? The I Smell story has been shared by so many attempts to incorporate smells into the digital world. Incorporate smells into the internet. This is Web 4. Fuck Web 3. The smell cartridge. Asuka 120% retrospective, the origin of anime fighters. Check that out, everyone, if you're curious. I like the smell of matchsticks. Are a nice smell. I always love the smell of like concrete. My house's basement and garage in Illinois had like the best smell in the summertime because the way that like the humidity kind of brought out the smell of the concrete. It was so... I loved being down there. It was so nice. And it was also great to be down there because it was cool. They sell you the smell for DLC. Do you want to smell... A lot of people would smell bacon. Bacon probably stinks, dude. Why did I Smell fail? As in so many other things, there is no single reason. The lack of investment, the difficulty to reproduce realistic smells, and we add, maybe it was too early and the market was not ready to add a new sensation to something relatively new, like the internet. Wait, what? 1999 to 2005? Whoa, this is way earlier. This is before, I thought I Smell was like a riffing on like Apple, but did Apple have iMacs even back then? Holy crap. 1999, dude. In like a pre-Y2K world. Maybe did they get knocked out by the Y2K virus? These nuts has to be a smell. So, I Smell or wait, PC World Magazine listed I Smell as one of the 25 worst inventions of all time? No! I Smell or DigiSense Inc. set itself a very ambitious goal to be able to transmit smells by email? No, dude, not smell mail. When visiting a website or even in video games. Awesome. The system needed agreements. In reality, they were their customers. Oh, agreements with the owners of the websites. Or by the video game developers who would pay DigiSense to be able to offer their users the smells. So the invention was connected to the PC via USB. Furthermore, iSmell was intended not only to use preloaded scents, but to generate new scents from the scent cartridges it contained, similar to what printers do. It was like mixing and matching. iSmell was the Sega Dreamcast of their market. Hey, we're not saying that the Dreamcast was bad. We're not saying iSmell was bad, dude. You got they got the mix and match smells. I wonder if it's like, like there's the three like actual primary colors are smell. Yeah, e-smell. E-smell. Like the three primary colors are like cyan, magenta, and yellow, or that's what like ink uses or something like that. Which is like different from green or something like that. I wonder if there's that for like smells. Like, what are the three primary smells that get mixed together to make anything? I guess it's different because light is like a spectrum, and smell is literally just like the way that chemicals. You're literally just breathing in a certain amount of a chemical. It has been proven that with current technology, it is not possible to reproduce realistic scents from primary smells, or basic essences, as is the case with color. Oh, they're saying that that's not how it works. With what technology can I digitize smells today? To find a professional system that can activate scents by software, voice, or API, we have to go to Olarama. The only effective digital scent technology available in 2021. Oh God, not 2022. Olarama offers scent generators with up to 10 different smells. Incorporates ultra realistic smells, hyper realistic smells, you might say, which allows to enrich any audiovisual or playful experience with a new sense, the sense of smell. Virtual reality with smells. That's another use I could see with it if you want like the full. Like these are all museums. That was one I didn't think of. Events with smells. These are all like actual decent, I think, applications of something like this. Is smell also a spectrum? Dirt, marshmallow, gas are the three. I don't know that much about smell. I think that like dogs literally have smell-o-vision. That's true. I actually asked one of my friends about this, who knows a lot more about like animal science, and I said like, hey. Because I was thinking about this the other day. I saw two dogs walking down on opposite sides of the street. Like their owners were getting walked. And they were barking at each other. They were, they do that thing that dogs do. But they were like totally different breeds. One was like a little Chihuahua thing, and the other was like some other dog breed, like a pit bull or something like that. And I had this thought. I was like, I wonder how dogs that look completely different, like if you didn't know that they were dogs, like they're technically the same species, I wonder like how dogs that look totally different know that they're both dogs. Like how do they know that? And I asked my friend, and they told me that apparently it is mostly through smell. Their primary, so even though they're like phenotypically, I guess smell is kind of part of phenotype, maybe. They look totally different, like totally different animals, besides just being four-legged and having like basic features. They have like a consistent smell. Dogs just have a consistent smell across breeds. So yeah, their primary sense is I'm assuming smelling and hearing actually. Museums is a good thing. Like that could be neat. Escape rooms and then events. Yeah. So the Scents Company. What is scent marketing? I'm so fascinated by this. Scent marketing consists of simulating the sense of smell to boost sales. So this is like an in-person thing. Smell is the most important human sense. Babies do not recognize their mother either by hearing or by sight, since we are born practically blind, but by smell. Interesting. Huh. Citrix women fragrance. Oh, some of you would want to smell the women fragrance. The only thing I know about smells came from a guy who had olfactophilia. Oh. I could sort of... I'm assuming that's like a fetish for smells. For like, you get off on scents or something. I could sort of see that. That sort of makes sense to me. To be fair, is probably the guy you want to talk to if you want to learn about smells. Have I seen the JRH NBR video? It took me a second to realize what that is. It was? Yes, I used to be a huge H3H3 fan. It's actually the reason I say dog. Well, like I call people dogs because he did. I love the JRH NBR video. Smoked sausages. Ooh. Gunpowder. Again with the gunpowder. Rain, bread, volcanic. Poisonous gas. Let's simulate the smell of when my grandma filled the house with poison gas when she left a plastic spatula on the stove and it melted. Controlled. So I guess they literally just like pull chemicals and they distill them, and then the scent thing, I don't know what it does. It's got to be like a vapor type of thing, or like a same way like perfume or something works. Fire doesn't have a smell. Yeah, rain is a dirt type smell. We're gonna categorize them. Yeah, fire. The smell of fire is really just either smoke or the wood. Like different types of wood smell different, and even taste different. Like the different kinds of smoked wood, or like smoked meats, like this, smoked sausages. God, this is making me feel hungry again. Smells. Dirt type. What was our theory? Smegma's a gas type smell. Fuck. Dirt, marshmallow, and gas. You said. Let's see how many we can categorize these. What is smoked sausages? Is that gas? Would that be gas? I don't. This is, I'm something a Bond villain would have. The thing that's burning is what gives off the smell, but fire in and of itself has no smell. Yeah. Rain also doesn't have a smell. You're smelling the humidity from the dirt. Ah, that's true. That's true. It's just, it is just water. Yeah. Creative smells. Ooh, we're getting creative with the smells? I don't want to smell what this guy's doing. Beach? Wait, how is... Because there's nature smells. How is beach different from nature? Paint? Cola drink? Beer? Pastry shop? Incense? You can just buy incense. You can just buy incense. Like, you don't have to get this whole fucking thing. Ginger. It's so funny because, like, a lot of these things are just things you can own on women's fragrance. So instead of buying a perfume, you could buy this little capsule that smells like perfume that you put in like a big fan, and then it disperses that smell throughout the room. You could just breathe on. You could, instead of just smells. I guess this. Maybe the paint smell could be used to like wean people off of like huffing paint. Like if you're worried that your kid's gonna get brain damage because he's just huffing the paint all day, you're like, let me buy the Olorama, and it's gonna be like a nicotine patch for him. Soap, you can buy. Lollipop, you can buy. Candy floss, you can buy. Ginger, you can buy. Men's perfume, man perfume, singular, you can buy. Cinnamon, you can buy. Potadas bravas, you can buy. Cilantro, you can buy. Like, these are all things, like, especially the food things, like, you can just, if you want to smell them, just cook. Can you huff paint smell? Well, yeah, yeah, you can. Oh, yeah, you can. It causes brain damage. What does a spa smell like? Yeah, depends on what kind of spa you're going to. I guess maybe like, I guess yeah, the smell of a spa would be kind of like rain, like a spa, like a sauna, for instance, probably smells different from a spa like that's in the picture here, because in like a sauna, you're smelling like mostly it's actually like the wood, right? Like the smell of the wood that the sauna is made of, or the rocks, or just like the humidity, the things in your environment that are basically just picking up the smell. It's basically just filling it with humidity that is like a means for the smell to disperse through the air. So like depends on which spa they're going to. Wouldn't candy floss attract ants? Oh, you're right. You're right. That would probably, if it smelled sweet. Would it? How do ants know where sugar is? Wait, that's a good question. Do ants... That's true, because I remember I spilled soda one time when I was a kid. I spilled a big thing of soda on the ground, and we had to like clean it up and everything, but there was like still some like sugar just stuck to like our hardwood floors. And this fucking... There were these ants that had this hole that they would come out of in the corner, and they were just swarming it, and they actually ended up crawling into my backpack. And when I came to school the next day, I opened my backpack and all these fucking ants came out of it. That was in the first grade. That was like a classic Tigan story. How do can ants smell? Ants have 4 to 5 times more odor receptors than other insects. Wow. Ants have super smell. Yeah, this is like the way to get ants. Maybe if you're like an exterminator, bring the ants out, put them in a room and then just close it and like gas them or something like that. Peppermint. Yeah, these are all just things you can like incense. Incense is like so cheap to get. The idea of like buying a thing to like, you have to buy the machine, then you have to buy the capsules to like put in the machine, and you gotta wait for it to like disperse, and you could just buy incense. 18 euros per unit, 20 USD per unit, like per smell. Wonder how long they last. Let's check out nature smells before we go to smells of action. Fresh grass, rain or wet ground, which is just the soil, as we've discussed. The forest, which different forests are going to smell different, right? Yeah, we're still good. Okay. I thought I was like, oh, did the stream die for a second? No, we're good. Wood logs, hay, roses, lavender, pine resin. So there's just like flowers and stuff. Let's see smells. Food smells is gonna. Oh man, is it gonna make me hungry? Vanilla, honey, apples. Yeah, these are like anchovies. You want to smell anchovies? Really? Okay. Almonds? I guess almonds have a smell. I want to know what smells of action are. The smells of action scenes. Fire/explosions, gunpowder, burnt wheel, burnt plastic? Who the fuck? Why burnt plastic? Oh, hey, Xavier. Incense are just better because you light them up and then just leave and close the room. Yeah, Big X pro tip. Who the fuck wants burnt plastic? Burnt car oil, diesel, gasoline, aviation gas, and volcanic. You can't click on any of these things individually. The burnt plastic is the most ridiculous one. What the fuck? What the hell? Okay. Burnt plastic? Dude, imagine going to a party and who's the fucking guy who put in the burnt plastic cartridge? I don't want to smell that. What they say about us. In the words of the presenter, thanks to Olorama, we will be able to smell to the end. What the fuck does that mean?
Primero fue el cine mudo, después el sonoro, luego llegó el color en 3D y ahora nos cuentan que llega el cine con olor.
There's subtitles, yeah. Let's auto-translate.
Es decir, que vamos a poder saber a qué huelen las escenas gracias a un dispositivo aromatizador. Es posible que de esta forma seamos capaces de olernos el final.
Así se ve y se escucha la película Avatar. Dispositivos como las 3 dimensiones ayudan a hacerla más real. Pero demos un paso más. ¿A qué huele una escena como esta?
Para mí lo que ha sido impresionante es el contraste del olor a humo en esa escena de que hay tantísima acción con luego el olor a hierba.
Me da la sensación de que me estaba ahogando, me da la sensación de que iba a toser y todo.
What's the guy's name? I felt like I was going to cough. What if someone's like allergic to something in these? Oh my god. Could you imagine? Imagine if someone's allergic to some like one of these chemicals or something, and they just like you just gassed the room with it. Oh.
Gracias a esta tecnología.
Un dispositivo aromatizador inalámbrico de 12 aromas. Entonces lleva unos pequeños cartuchos insertables y recargables. Hemos diseñado la tecnología para que por película no haya más de 12, porque pensamos que puede saturar el sentido del olfato.
Entramos ahora en el universo culinario de Ratatouille.
Huele a queso, a vainilla.
Sobre todo en películas así que tienen comidas, que tienen sabores, que tienen olores.
Aromas con muchas
I want to
posibilidades.
smell the rat, dude. They don't even pipe in the smell of the fucking. They don't even pipe in the smell of the food. They just you just smell the rats. You gotta go. Lovely talking to y'all. Have fun smelling. We will. Well, thank you for stopping by. It's been great.
Publicidad, eventos y cine en casa o en salas. Séptimo arte para estimular más que nunca nuestros sentidos.
Holy shit. Oh, it's a Spanish company. Okay. That's so funny. That is so fucking funny. Chocolate gun. Holy crap. Did they not update their copyright? What's going on with them? Oh, man. Well. We've been going for close to 3 hours. This has got to be one of the longest podcasts. Yeah, we definitely went down a rabbit hole. King ding ring. Geez, well, I'm tired and I kind of want to go eat and, I don't know, lay down or something. It's nice because I don't have to, like, render and upload and edit in stuff and, you know, edit in, like, music cues and stuff like that. Maybe they canceled everything because they intoxicated some child. Yeah, they just fucking killed a kid. They killed a kid with the fucking... He's allergic to one of the smells. He broke out in hives. Oh god! He got killed by the Olorama. Oh, that's so funny. I wonder if there's anything about, before we go, Olorama. Nothing about... They have a Twitter. Their last tweet was in March. Okay. They had a Kickstarter in 2020. Oh boy. Okay. So, yeah. Fuck. Right. Anyway. Thanks for the podcast and all the video. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I wanted to do something where I kind of got to interact and do a little conversing And I like doing live streams. It's been a lot of fun. So I figured this was a good opportunity to do that. I don't know how well this works as a podcast for anyone listening afterwards, but that's how it's gonna work. It's been a lot of fun. Imagine the stream where you can smell the Taigens. Yeah, it's just gonna smell like it's gonna smell like metal. It just smells like metal. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks everyone who showed up. Everyone who comments and leaves questions and things like that, and because that was kind of I was like, oh, I like the fact that I get to kind of talk to you guys through the comment review, and I think it's fun to do something a little more live. It's just fun. You guys have been really cool. Yeah, I really don't have much else to say. We talked about one video game, grand total of one video game this entire podcast, Dawn of War, which was good. I like it. I like the game. Oh, and Vampire Survivors, which you should go play. It's $3 on Steam. It's super cheap. It's updated all the time. There's no microtransactions. Play it. Without any further ado, I think I'm going to call it a day here. So if this is for the audience watching this afterwards. If you have been, what do I usually say at the end of these? If you watched this whole thing, thank you for watching. If you have a question, leave it down in the comments below, and I will definitely get to it next time, but it has to be phrased in the form of a question. Or I will not just read your thoughts out loud. Yeah. Have fun. Take care. It's been a ball. All right. Later, guys.